I thought Jaden Ivey was on brand. I thought he was exactly what we were told he was going to be.
Jaden Ivey plays the game at 120 miles per hour. There's plenty of things he can learn, but my God, like speed kills, and you saw that last night. Jalen Duren, physically, I mean, that man, he's a man. There's no way he's not going to be playing minutes come the regular season.
And I think Duren is going to be on the roster. He provides an element they do not have as an NBA franchise.
He slapped out on the backboard, the rim shaking. Like, I loved it. Rim protection from Isaiah Livers. That man had a couple monster blocks. He swatted Luka Garza on his first attempt. I was like, oh.
Let's get into it, man. The Summer League game last night, Pistons do get a win. And, you know, it's not going to be about that. It's more along the lines of what we saw. And, you know, for me, if I could use one phrase, I don't want to say one word, but if I could use one phrase for what I saw in the Summer League game last night, as far as the Detroit Pistons were concerned, I think it was on brand for me. And I know people are hype and everything like that. I thought Jaden Ivey was on brand. I thought he was exactly what we were told he was going to be. The pros in the scouting report, very pro.
Yep.
I mean, explosive speed, explosive. And to be fair, and I think I told you guys this story where I talked to basketball people, like guys that make a living in the game of basketball, and that's where I kind of had a little bit of a change of heart with Jaden Ivey in. They told me he is one of those guys that will be a better pro player than college player. Because, you know, again, I'm down on Purdue. You guys know how I do, you know, as far as that goes. The game, the floor, the spacing, that's the biggest thing, Juicy J. The spacing, Jaden Ivey can excel.
Yeah, that's it right there. It's the athleticism. And that's why at Purdue he didn't have that much spacing. Their offense was what it was. And that's why I never look at what a player's asked to do at the collegiate level. You have to look at that. And you look at the physical tools Jaden Ivey has. And that's what I noticed right away. The athleticism, which will benefit him offensively and defensively. You saw it. The ability. He just looks just faster than everybody out there. But it is Summer League. I mean, that's expected. But you want to look at things that'll translate. And it starts with the athleticism. I mean, I don't care if shots are falling or not. 6 for 14. Had a pretty good game, 26-6. But he looks confident. I mean, the shot, you could tell he was out there trying to prove a point. 2 for 5 from downtown. Couple bad misses, but he also hit a couple good shots. So that's really what you're looking at. I'm not over here dissecting the game in Summer League. It's really about just seeing the raw skills. Another one, Jalen Duren. Physically, I mean, that man, he's a man. That man, 18 years old, youngest player in the draft, he comes in, he looked ready to play. I get it, Summer League again. But I get the narrative out there before was, will he start in the G League? And I just think physically, there's no way he's not going to be playing minutes come the regular season just because of what he can provide, his shot blocking.
And that's, you know what, everyone's talking about catching the lobs and doing the dunks and showing the athleticism. I'll tell you what the Pistons' biggest need that they have on that floor is rim protection.
Exactly.
I mean, you had Beef Stew playing center last year. I mean, that's what you had.
Right.
And that's why I'm of the opinion. I think Duren is going to be on the roster, and
Absolutely.
Duren will play to some degree. Because that's what he provides. I don't even care. Like, the athleticism's great and everything like that, and it's exciting. He provides an element they do not have as an NBA franchise.
Yeah, that's really the biggest thing for me when I was talking about DeAndre Ayton before even the draft started is what they need, and DeAndre Ayton brings a lot of those tools. But Jalen Duren, like, he checks a lot of those boxes as well. And I know, Spence, you were watching it too, man. Like, seeing him, Isaiah Stewart out there, and we talked about this, Spence, you want him to shoot threes. And he was 3 for 4 from downtown. He looked like he's never played the 4 position his entire life. And now he's starting to play it, and he's playing it well. So just to see Ivy, Duren, Stewart all on the court together, it was fun to watch, man.
Yeah, speaking on Jalen Duren, it's like you guys said, we knew, he'd have that athleticism, he'd have that rim protection because, that is some of the easiest bounce I've ever seen in a Pistons uniform. That guy got up there, he yammed, he slapped out on the backboard, the rim shaking, I loved it. But one thing that I loved the most was his missed jump shot attempt.
I know.
He hit this fall away turnaround from 17 feet, looked comfortable doing it. I was like, if that goes in, I'm gonna scream right now because it looked good, it looked clean, it didn't look any hiccups, anything in it. And so if he can do that, if he can go out there, if he can hit a 15 to 17 footer with somewhat consistency, he's a starter. He's a starter immediately on this team. So I love it. I love what I saw out of him. And Isaiah Livers. How about rim protection? Rim protection from Isaiah Livers. That man had a couple monster blocks. He swatted Luka Garza on his first attempt. I was like, oh, man.
Man, the narrative flipped on Luka Garza in this town real quick, didn't it? I saw some hate on the socials.
I don't hate the kid. You know, he was a good kid, good work ethic. It just didn't work out.
Wasn't good enough.
He doesn't translate to the NBA as well as you would have hoped with his shooting prowess. But you know, I still hope he does well, has a good career. But
and I think too with Jaden Ivey, Neil, like some players, and you hear this a lot with different players, like they move at such a fast pace. Like Jaden Ivey plays the game at 120 miles per hour.
Yes,
and that's a good thing. Because with good coaching, you can, and as you get older, the game will slow down for him. It's better to tell a guy to slow down than to speed up. Like, that's what you want. And I think with Jaden Ivey, man, just the pace he plays with, like learning from Cade, a guy who can get to his spots and play the game at a much slower pace but still be successful. There's plenty of things he can learn, but my God, like speed kills. And you saw that last night. That'll translate to the NBA. His effect on the game, no doubt about it, man.
On the YouTube chat thread, Francis Garcia, Jalen Duren went beast mode for a little bit there. Dude is a savage. Now, I do understand, and I'm not going to lie to you guys, I tapped out at halftime. I saw... And we're seeing this too. Mr. Jiggle saw a lot of the refs keeping the Blazers in the game last night, and
yes.
you know, but the way the game was being officiated. We talked about the NHL draft taking forever.
Mm-hmm.
That summer league game was going, from my understanding, was going on for quite a. That thing didn't end until 2:30.
2:37, I believe.
Well, I know they started late.
Yeah.
Because of course they did.
Mm-hmm.
Of course. It reminds me of when we play. You know, in the college basketball scene, we go to these exempt tournaments all over the country, and you play these games, and it's almost, there's kind of an AAU feel where the games start every 30 minutes and stuff like that. The one that's before, it always seems like the one that's before our game at Oakland always goes into overtime.
Yeah.
Always. And, you know, that's just the way that it works. So I know a lot of people, you know, you guys, you battled though, man.
Yeah. Oh, we went through it. We had to. You know, that's what we're here for. That's what we live for. And yeah, on to Jaden Ivey again. Like I said this before the show. Yeah, he plays at that pace. Obviously, we knew he was going to come in with that ridiculous speed, blowing by guys. And I'm just excited for when he throws those passes, when he makes those moves, and he's got Sadiq Bey and Cade Cunningham out there instead of Saban Lee and Braxton Key. Like, first of all, the floor will obviously open up more. Mm-hmm. You have Cade, who is a maestro with the ball. He's going to shoot the ball a lot better next year. I guarantee you that. And you have Sadiq Bey, who can knock down a shot from anywhere. So you have those guys out there to space the floor. Will just create even more driving lanes for Jaden Ivey and more attempts at the bucket. When I texted Neil before the game started, I said, if Jaden Ivey throws an oop to Duren, I'm going to bust out of my shorts.
Alter your britches.
I'm going to alter my britches. And the first play of the game, Jaden Ivey throws it up to Duren. So, man, it started off hot. I loved it.
You are an animal right now.
Yeah, I know. I'm so
Sam
happy.
Flannel. This guy over here, he's an animal.
Do you recognize him, Sam?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I love the passion, Spencer, and I love the fact that you were able to stay up until 2:37 and just watch the whole game. And I love the excitement. I think you should pump the brakes a little bit, but I am not even going to fault you because
let these people live.
We did see a lot that, you know, is positive. What I take away from Jaden Ivey, for example, is that when you saw him in transition finishing, he dunked that ish. And I think that that's something that is positive. I like the way he finishes. And also, even when he was just driving to the hoop, he has that athleticism where he can create opportunities for himself that are easy. Even though his finishing ability was criticized at Purdue, he often had to do it over multiple defenders. But in the NBA, if you have that athleticism, you can create those easy opportunities for yourself. And one more thing about Isaiah Stewart. I have been the biggest Isaiah Stewart critic that I know. I like the fact that he was 3 of 4 from 3.
There we go.
If he can shoot the 3 at maybe 35 to 40% and guard the perimeter, I might change my tone on Isaiah Stewart.
So, there you have it. Pistons fan 11 on our YouTube chat thread. Ivey was 6 of 6 from the line. I think that got lost by a lot of people,
That's
too.
big time.
If he can shoot a high free throw percentage, it'll be massive because he could get to the line plenty. And, that's something, too. That's a skill that's learned in the NBA. Yeah, but getting to the line, that's an NBA skill that you develop in the NBA. And that's, truth be told, like when we talked about Cade Cunningham last week, that's the thing I'm looking for from Cade Cunningham. And I know people were talking about, and that was like a running storyline, Cade's not getting calls and stuff like that. You have to go get them too. Like a little bit of it is on you to go get them, and that comes along with the quote unquote star treatment that is the NBA. But there is a skill set to that. Yeah. James Harden's one of the best I've ever seen at it. Mm-hmm. Just anticipating contact and putting your defender in a position where they have no choice but to make contact with you. And Ivy's going to be able to do that.
And a lot of that has to do with your physical build, your strength. I think Jaden checks that off coming right into the league with him, how he's built physically. He can absorb contact. I mean, James Harden, and I know what he looks like now, but in Houston, he was built like that. I mean, he was in much better shape. So I'm excited, man. I think there's much more defensively that Jaden has to unlock too. I mean, 6'4" with a 6'10" wingspan. You saw how long his arms were. And I'm excited. I really am as a Pistons fan.
Absolutely.